What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we'll be making rock paper scissors in Python. So let's get right into it. So I think we all know how rock paper scissors works. Rocks beats scissors, paper beats rock, scissors beats paper. And so we're going to implement this so the user chooses an option, the CPU chooses an option, and it displays whoever wins or not. And hopefully we'll also implement a score, so at the end we can see who won, and or if in ties or whatever. But let's get right into it. So first thing we gotta get is the choices. So there's 3 choices: rock, paper, scissors. So let's go ahead and implement that. So we're gonna put this in a list, and the first item will be rock. We're gonna have paper and scissors. Now we have to create a game loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable called run. This is going to be equal to true. And I'm going to do while run. This is where we're going to put all our code that we want to run while the game is running. So this is basically our rock, paper, scissors game. This goes inside the while loop. Okay? So what we want to do is first we want to get the user's input. So we want to know what the user wants to choose. So to do that, we'll create a variable called user underscore num. Or actually do user underscore choice, and we're going to set this equal to an input. Remember, we can get input using the input method, and we want it to be a string because they're choosing either rock, paper, or scissors. So string input. For now, we'll just do rock, paper, or scissors. Okay? We also want the computer's number. So how do we get the computer's number? Well, first of all, we have these choices here, but we want the choices to be random. We don't want the CPU to pick a number, the same thing every single time, right? So we can use the random module. So to do that, we're going to be using the choice method from the random module. That's the only thing we need to select an item from this list. What the choice method does is it randomly selects an item from an iterable. A list isn't iterable, so we can use the choice method for this. So I'm going to do from random import choice. Okay? Now to get the computer's element or choice, we can do comp underscore choice, and we can just do choice, and we're going to put the iterable inside the parentheses. So the iterable is choices, so it's going to randomly choose from one of these 3. That's exactly what we want. Alright, now we're actually going to get into the conditional statements. So these are really the decisions that we want to be making. So for example, if I choose rock and the computer chooses scissors, what do we want to happen? So in that case, well, rock, when we want to say that we won, the user won. So we're going to start handling cases. So the first case I want to handle is the tie, because this knocks out rock, rock, paper, paper, scissors, scissors. So really we want to do if user underscore choice, and we actually want to do dot lower. So whatever the user types in, if they type in rock and all capitalized, it doesn't matter because the choices here are all lowercase. So we want that to equal the CPU. So if user underscore choice dot lower equals comp underscore choice, which is already lowercase, so we don't need to make that lower. Then we want to print u tied. And we're actually going to use string formatting here because we want to say that the computer also chose, and then it doesn't matter what we put here because both the user and the computer chose the same thing. So for here, I'm just going to use user underscore choice. Alright? So that's how we handle the tie. If the user's input equals the computer's choice, then we want to say that you tied. Next thing we want to do is elif. So next thing we want to do is handle winning and losing. So we'll start with if the user chooses rock. So if user underscore choice equals dot lower equals rock, and computer underscore choice equals, since we already handled rock and rock, so let's do paper equals paper. Well, if the computer chooses paper and the user chooses rock, that means the computer won. So we want to say that you lost, the user lost. So I'm going to print, and again we're going to use string formatting. You lost, the computer chose. And we could just say the computer chose paper because, well, that's what they chose here. That's what the case is handling. But we want to get into the practice of using variable names instead of just actually typing this in. It makes things a lot easier, especially for larger applications. So we're going to say the computer chose comp underscore choice, just like that. Okay, that's all. And I did if. This should be elif. I'm sorry about that. And same thing if the user chooses rock, but the computer chooses scissors, then we want to print you won. And we don't have to change this. We don't have to change this because it will say that the computer chose scissors because that's what comp choice is. Okay? Next thing we want to handle is if the user chooses paper. So elif user underscore choice equals paper. And again, we already handled ties. So if the computer chooses rock, well, paper beats rock. So we're going to print you won. The computer chose comp underscore choice. Okay? And then we can just copy this. And you probably guessed, whoops, nope, we keep this, but we change this to scissors. And scissors beats paper, so we're going to put you lost, and the computer chose comp underscore choice. Now, you can probably guess what the last thing is we're handling scissors, so we can just copy these two blocks. And if the user chose paper, little shortcut here, Control D. Is it Control D? Yes, so Control D will select all the next instances of a word that you highlight. So I'm gonna Control D paper. I'm gonna change this to scissors, and it will change the next instance of scissors as well. Okay. So then we just have to change this down here to paper, and scissors and rock. Rock beats scissors. So if user chooses scissors and the computer chooses rock, we're gonna put you lost. And this here, scissors beats paper, so we're gonna put you won. Alright. Well, what if something else happens? So if really the only thing that could happen is that you didn't put rock, paper, or scissors. So in that case, we're gonna put invalid choice. Now, if we run this, it should work. So it's going to ask rock, paper, scissors. I'm going to choose rock. It's going to say you won. The computer chose scissors. I'm going to do rock again. The computer chose scissors. I won again. We tied. The computer also chose rock, paper. So this seems to be working, except there's no way to end it. So this is actually going to run forever until we kill the terminal. But we want to have the user in the program. So in order to do that, as I just killed the terminal, we're gonna let's actually create a prompt. Okay, so I'm gonna do prompt. It's gonna be a string. It's gonna say, let's actually do a little introduction. So welcome to Rock paper, scissors, scissors. Let's go to the next line. We can use this escape character slash backslash n. This will move the cursor to the next line. So we're gonna say press 0 to quit. Okay, and then now we want to ask rock, paper, or scissors on the last line. Rock, paper, or scissors. Okay, and now we can just replace this input with prompt. So now if we run this again, it's just gonna be the same thing, except we have this longer prompt here. It's telling you to press 0 to quit. Of course, we haven't actually done anything with 0, so if I press 0 here, it's gonna say invalid choice. Now the program works, but we also notice that every time we run this, it's gonna keep saying welcome to rock, paper, scissors, press 0 to quit. That's not exactly what we want. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna handle what happens if you press 0. Well, elif user underscore choice equals 0, then we want to, so run is true. As long as run is true, this is gonna run. Well, we want run to be false. That's the only way that this loop is gonna end. So run equals false. Okay? And actually, user choice is not an integer. Remember, user choice is a string, so we have to make this a string as well. So 0 as a string. So now we do this. If I press 0, the program ends. That's excellent. Now, I don't want this long prompt to run every single time we enter rock, paper, scissors. So we're gonna handle another condition. So actually, let's create a count variable outside of the loop. Let's make count equal to 0, and we're gonna do if count equals 0, then we run this prompt. Okay, and let's do it like this. Oops, I don't know, I'm tabbing it, it's not. Okay, and then else, we just want to ask rock, paper, scissors. Okay, so we just want this part, but whoops, but we want count to update, right? Because or else count is always, it's going to do the same thing. So after the first time this runs, count's going to increase, and then it's going to keep running this. Okay, so let's try this. So we're going to rock, paper, scissors. It's going to ask for rock 1, the computer shows scissors, and now see is only asking for rock, paper, or scissors. Let's do paper, and scissors, rock, and so on. And then I can press 0 to quit. Alright? Now the last thing we want to implement is a score. So this is where we're going to use dictionaries. I told you we'll be using dictionaries in this video, in my last video, my dictionaries video. So, well, this is where dictionaries come into play. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a variable called scores, and this is going to be a dictionary. And the first score we want to handle is the user score. So we're going to create a key called user, and we're going to initially set this value to 0. Then we want to have the computer score, so we want a key called computer. We want to set this value to 0, and then the last possible thing is ties. So we'll handle ties as well, and this will be 0. Now, we're going to say, so you tied, well, if we tied, then we want to update the tie count in the dictionary. So we want scores, and then ties to plus equal 1, right? And we want to do the same thing for winning and losing. So every time we see that you lost, we want scores computer to plus equal 1. Let me copy and paste this. So every time you lose, the computer gains a point, and every time you win, scores the user plus equals 1. So we're just adding 1 to the score each time the user wins, each time the computer wins, and each time they tie. Okay? So now, and what do we want to do with this? Well, now we have the scores. So at the end, when the loop ends, when the user presses 0, we want to print the scores out. So let's print, thank you for playing. The scores were and let's actually make a new line. Let's do user, and let's do string formatting. And then what we can do is now we just access the user scores from the dictionary. So remember, to get the value, we put the dictionary name, and then in brackets we put the name of the key. So that's how you get the value of the key. So we want the user value for the user score. And then on the next line, let's get the value of the computer. So computer, and then the same thing. We want to do scores computer, and then again for ties /n. On the new line, we want to put in curly brackets scores and then ties. Alright, so hopefully this works. Let's run it. Welcome to rock, paper, scissors. I'm going to choose rock. We tied. So we have 1 tie, 1 loss, and 1 win. That's actually perfect. Let's put 0. You can see it says thank you for playing. The scores were user 1, computer 1, ties 1. That is absolutely correct. And that is it in terms of the basics. There are ways we could improve this. We could say like who won overall. So if the user had more than the computer overall, then we could say that you absolutely won. You won in total. We can handle exceptions and all of that. So, but this for now, this is a solid rock, paper, scissors game. It did what we wanted, and it ultimately tells us how many times we won, how many times we lost, and how many times we tied. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, I encourage you to play around with this. Projects, like I said in my last video, I think projects are a great way of learning any programming language because you're applying your skills. But yep, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I really hope to see you in the next one. Take it easy.